Guys, guess what? Everyone watching this video right now, I got some bad news for you. You're not Neville. You're not Nero Knowledge. You're not Sammy Ingram. You're not me. I know a lot of you out there really love to follow the popular LOA teachers and you like to do what's trendy, but the harsh reality is a lot of you are going to be disappointed. And the reason being, it's not because the teacher is giving you terrible advice necessarily. I think all of these teachers in this space have something to bring to the table. I think Nero Knowledge is excellent. I think Sammy Ingram is excellent at talking about robotic affirmations. I think Neville Goddard is great at talking about sats. However, the problem isn't necessarily the teachers. Although sometimes I do think some people can gaslight and give terrible advice. But I think most of all, a lot of these people mean well. So in my opinion, from what I've seen since 2019 doing this, watching videos for over a decade, the problem isn't the teachers necessarily. The problem is the person that's consuming the material is getting caught up in the sensationalism around the advice that they are hearing. And what I mean by that is you could have been doing something or following a routine that 100% worked for you in particular. And then for whatever reason, you decided to stop doing that routine because you heard a YouTuber or you heard somebody in the comments or whatever say,
no, this is what you need to be doing. You need to stop doing it your way. You need to do it this way because this way is the best way.
And the problem that we run into in this community is when people become too dogmatic with their beliefs and they start to say things like, this is the only way, that way is wrong. And as you guys have heard me say religiously in my videos, I always say there is no wrong way. There are simply ways, and it's up for you to choose the way that works best for you. The thing about anybody that's teaching LOA is they all have their preferred technique that works for them. And so then what we do is we go on YouTube and we disseminate it to the masses and say, this is a method, you should do it this way. And we build a following around people doing it that way. And we build a following around teaching people how to do it this particular way. But what you, the conscious observer, has to understand, you weren't raised like me. I don't have 90% of the limitations mentally that a lot of you guys have right now watching this video. I didn't go through 90+% of the traumas that a lot of people have gone through in life. I said in one of my past videos, I am fortunate to not experience so much of the stuff that I hear people that I work with and stuff that I might see on TV or hear on the radio or wherever. I haven't gone through anything compared to a lot of people out here in the world. And I'm very fortunate of that. So when you hear me give advice on something, understand it might have worked for me that way, but it might not work for you that way because my blocks are totally different from yours. A lot of you out there trying to manifest an SP, for instance, a lot of you out there have some serious circumstances to overcome, contrary to what you might hear other people say. So many people in this community say, and even coaches say, circumstances don't matter. And I'm here to tell you circumstances 1000% absolutely matter. When people say circumstances don't matter, in my opinion, I think what they're really trying to say is today your circumstances might be a certain way, but tomorrow or next week or next month, your circumstances can change. So in that aspect, they're absolutely right. Your circumstances don't matter. It does not matter where you are today. If you're broke today, you could have a lot of money next week. You could have a lot of money next month. You could have a lot of money next year. So when it comes to that, yes, people are absolutely right. Circumstances do not matter. But when it comes to very serious issues, for instance, when you're trying to manifest somebody, but you have deep internal wounds from when you were little, you were touched by a relative, or you were assaulted by somebody, a complete stranger, it would be extremely dishonest for me or for anybody else to look you in the eye and tell you that shit don't matter. Because that does matter. And in my opinion, that's the type of shit that you do need to deal with. That type of shit right there is the real LOA work that some of you actually need to do but are avoiding because you watched a video that was popular talking about,
no, you don't need to face that. No, you don't need to face your trauma. No, that's a limiting belief.
All you need to do is affirm over that.
I have religiously stated, to me, in my opinion, that is putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. You got shot right here. You got shot right here. You got shot right here in the heart. You feel like you're gonna die. And you think just affirming over that is gonna fix your situation? Again, for somebody like me, yes, that might work. For somebody like Sammy Ingram, yes, that might work because everybody's different. What's that saying about snowflakes? No snowflakes are alike. And so understand there is a very small amount of people that could probably get away with going through something traumatic and being able to deal with that by just affirming or to be able to deal with that by just doing sats. But from what my experience has told me since 2019 is a lot of people that take that approach, they struggle tremendously and they don't see results no matter how much they affirm, no matter how much they think they're doing sats. And again, I'm not necessarily blaming the coach for that, but what I am saying is you, the person, you need to look in the mirror at yourself and ask yourself, do I need to abandon what I've been doing as far as listening to this coach, listening to these techniques? Do I need to perhaps find something else that works for me? Because I've talked to a lot of people that have worked with Sammy. I've talked to a lot of people that have gone the robotic affirmation route. I've worked with people that have literally locked themselves in a room and affirmed all day for something. And at the end of a month, at the end of 2 months or whatever the time frame is, guess what? It's crickets. No results. This is why you must not get caught up in the hype whenever you see these videos, whenever you watch these videos. The Bible tells you don't praise false idols, because all of us, to some degree, in my opinion, we are false idols. If you're turning us into an idol, we are false. If you're turning me into an idol, I am false to you. Don't turn me into an idol. Don't turn Nero. Don't turn Sammy. Don't turn Tim. Don't turn any of us into idols. Again, you didn't grow up how I grew up. You didn't grow up how Sammy grew up. You don't know her personally. You don't know her story. You don't know her traumas or lack thereof. You don't know Nero's traumas or lack thereof. You don't really know Neville Goddard's traumas or lack thereof. You might look at somebody like Neville, or you might look at somebody like myself or whoever and say, damn, how can they control reality so fast? How can they control reality so well? And the truth is you don't know how much time that person has put into that craft. I know it seems like it happened overnight. I know it seems like they get stuff very quickly, but you got to understand, a lot of this stuff was years in the making. And quite frankly, a lot of people got to where they got to is because of the level of discipline that they displayed. I want you guys to think about Jesus Christ, for instance. There's a part in the Bible where Jesus Christ, even Jesus Christ himself, used to isolate himself. And there was a part where he went to the desert and he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Now, I want you guys to think about that level of discipline. Jesus Christ had that level of discipline. If you look yourself in the face, if you look yourself in the mirror, can you honestly say that you have that level of discipline? Most of us on this earth do not have Jesus Christ level of discipline. But guess what? That's okay. You don't need to have Jesus Christ level of discipline overnight. It will naturally come. And when you develop that discipline and you stay consistent and you persist, as Neville Goddard would say, you will eventually get to a point to where when you say to the mountain move, the mountain has to move, because you've trained yourself to get to that point. Just like Jesus trained himself to get to that point. It wasn't an overnight thing for Jesus, and it's not going to be an overnight thing for you. Jesus is considered the greatest manifester ever, in my opinion. That's how I look at it. I think Jesus is the greatest manifester ever. If it took him work, you think it's not going to take you work? You think it didn't take your favorite YouTuber work? You think it didn't take them years before they actually realized, oh shoot, I am a god. I can create my reality. You think Nero didn't read thousands of books? People like Nero, people like myself, we're fortunate enough because we're young enough to the point to where we actually found this stuff. We're not in our 50s, 60s, or 70s just finding this stuff and trying to make a change. But it took time for us to learn and to read and to watch to get to the points that we are at. So don't beat yourself up when it takes you time, because the internet is inundated with instant manifestation stuff. And I know that it sounds good, but when you think about it in totality, out of all the people that watch manifestation content, think about how many comments you see or read. They're actual success stories. Out of the hundreds, thousands of views that all of these videos get, out of the millions of views that all of these videos get, probably 10% or less, probably 5% or less are actually success stories out of millions and millions and millions of people. So you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be and evolving on this journey faster than you even realize, because the fact that you even know about this stuff puts you ahead 90+% of the people on this planet that have no idea about manifestation, have no idea about prayer, have no idea about how to change their subconscious mind. So you were actually ahead of the game, even without having what you want. That's something to rejoice about. But in order to get to that point, you have to understand certain techniques or certain things just may not be for you. And that is okay. You also have to realize that you have to get over the obsession, because the thing that I realize is a lot of people that come into this, especially when it comes to manifesting an SP, but this is really anything, whether it's money, job, a lot of you guys are obsessed. You become obsessed and you start to miss the whole point about manifestation, especially when it comes to manifesting a specific person. The big mistake that I see so many people make when it comes to manifesting an SP is so many people turn to robotic affirming because it's become popular. And they make all of their affirmations about their person.
My specific person is madly in love with me. My SP is constantly texting me. My SP desires me. They can't leave me alone. My SP stalks me.
I don't know about you, but I don't want nobody stalking me, number one, because that can get dangerous. But also, number two, you are missing the point. Manifestation is never about anything outside of yourself. It's always about you. And you guys heard me say a while back that famous Neville quote, don't try to change people. People are only messengers telling you who you are. Change yourself and people will confirm the change. And the big mistake you guys make when you do robotic affirmations is you make your SP the focal point instead of making yourself the focal point. I see so many of these desperate SP affirmations and it honestly makes me cringe, because it shows me you don't love yourself more than you love your SP. And you're supposed to love yourself more than you love your SP. If you love your SP way more than you love yourself, that's a problem in my opinion. If you're putting your SP up here and their worship level of you up here and you're putting yourself down here, that's a problem to me. Because if you had a real healthy relationship, you wouldn't be putting them up here. You would know that you are just as important as they are. You would know that how you view yourself is more important than how they view you. Because how you view yourself is ultimately how they're going to end up viewing you, how other people are going to end up viewing you. If you think you're not shit, guess what? You're going to attract people that confirm to you you're not shit. Stop making your SPs the focal point. Your SP is just the messenger. As Neville said, affirming they're texting me, they're obsessed with me. All they want to do is be around me. All they want to do is love me. I'm always in their brain. That type of stuff to me, in my opinion, is so draining, so toxic. People have gone to the hospital. You've heard me talk about this before. People have gone to the hospital. People have gotten sick, put on meds because they become depressed. They become anxious because their nervous system isn't ready for those types of words. This stuff is serious. Again, depending on your situation and your circumstances, you can't just slap a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. If you got shot, I assure you, you're never going to just slap a Band-Aid over that. You're going to go to the hospital, get stitches. And that's what a lot of you need to do when it comes to manifestation, quite frankly. A lot of you guys don't want to hear this, but a lot of you guys need to be more surgical with your manifestation. If you've been shot by an SP, figuratively speaking, in your heart, some of you guys need to go get surgery. You need to take a different route. You need to stop panicking and obsessing. Sometimes people send me messages or emails and they're like, Marv, my SP did this. What do I do? Marv, my SP did that. What do I do? Marv, the third party did this. What do I do? And I'm thinking to myself, you're completely still missing the point. It's not about what your person did or didn't do. It's not about what a third party did or didn't do. It's about what you're doing. Are you remembering or forgetting the foundational principles that we talked about? Stop obsessing over every little thing a third party does. Stop obsessing over every little thing your SP does. Because when you do that, you are rewarding your current reality with more of that. Because if you were in the reality that you actually wanted to be in, if you were being the person that you actually would want to be, you wouldn't be fazed by what a third party does. You wouldn't be fazed by your SP not texting you on your birthday. You would be fazed by your SP not saying happy Thanksgiving as Thanksgiving just passed here in the States. If you were actually being and knowing you are the person that you see in your mind. The thing you have to understand with any coach, whether it's myself, whether it's Sammy, whether it's Nero, whether it's Abraham Hicks, any of these current YouTubers that you guys watch that I hear about all the time, you have to take our good and leave our bad. Most of the advice that we give you, most of it's probably not going to work, but you have to find that 5% of what we tell you and you have to apply that 5% potentially. So for instance, I'm not telling you to completely ignore robotic affirmations. There may be a time and place to where you can make robotic affirmations work for you. What I'm saying is maybe you need to dial it back with robotic affirmations. So instead of affirming 10,000 times a day or in a week, maybe you need to cut that down to only 1,000. Maybe instead of affirming even when you feel like shit, maybe you need to only affirm when you feel particularly in the mood. Instead of saying affirmations like my SP loves me, my SP is obsessed with me, maybe you need to say affirmations like I am obsessed with me. I love myself. I radiate love to myself. I am so easy to love. Maybe you should start saying those affirmations. Deal with your reality, because that's another saying I hear in the community is ignore your 3D, ignore your reality. And I think that's some of the worst advice that I hear people say in this community is to run from your reality. Again, I think part of the problem is I think when people hear that, they take it out of context, sort of like the circumstances don't matter. People mean well in this community a lot of times, in my opinion, but they don't realize that this stuff is extremely nuanced, and the advice that they're giving you, they don't realize that a lot of these people are going to take it literally, especially the young ones. I have no clue who's watching my videos. I don't know how old any of you are. You could be 15 watching my videos and be extremely impressionable. And see, that's why I think about this type of stuff when I make these videos. Some of these coaches, in my opinion, I don't think they think about that. They don't think about that young 14, 15-year-old kid that's watching this shit that is just going to believe every word you say, especially when they're desperate. You take a 14 to 15, 16-year-old kid that just got out of a heartbreak, they're going to take what you say as law. So as a teacher, it is your responsibility to be aware of that and to say, I have to be careful about the message that I am disseminating out, because I don't know who's watching my videos. It could be a 13-year-old. It could be a 12-year-old. And this is why I am always careful, because I don't want to lead any of you down the wrong path. I don't want any of you to become obsessive with this type of stuff. I don't want any of you to become suicidal with this type of stuff, because this happens. I've worked with people who are depressed. I've worked with people who are suicidal or know people that are suicidal. I've worked with people in any type of situation you could imagine for the most part. And this is why, as coaches, this is extremely important to me. And it's extremely dangerous when you just come on the internet and you just say stuff as if it's one size fits all. Oh, you were molested? Oh, just affirm. Oh, you were assaulted? Oh, just affirm. Oh, as a kid, you were left in your house for 3 days straight and nobody came to check on you? Oh yeah, just affirm. This stuff is really serious, and it is not one size fits all. Depending on your situation, the severity of it depends on the route that you should absolutely take, because this stuff isn't surface level like so many people in this community make you think it is. This stuff is deep for a lot of you. I know it sounds good. Oh, it's going to happen quick. Oh, it should happen quick. It should be instant. And I'm here to tell you no. For a lot of you, especially when it comes to relationship stuff, money stuff, job stuff, that's different. You know, but if you guys, when you have relationship problems, SP problems, a lot of these SP problems are way deeper than that, way deeper than just affirming, way deeper than you even realize. It goes back to family stuff. It goes back to deep trauma stored in the body. So you have to ask yourself, are you trying to take the easy route when you you should potentially be taking the longer route. And that's okay. Because again, I've worked with people that have tried to take the short route and it didn't really work for them. They needed to actually peel back layers. And once they actually peel back those layers, that's when they saw results, because they were trying to ignore their reality. They were trying to ignore stuff that they needed to actually confront. And that only happens when you stop running, when you stop ignoring, and you open the door in the closet and you realize there was never a boogeyman. It was all up here that made me believe there was a boogeyman. I mean, I've worked with people that have gone years without talking to family members. And when they actually did the real work, they got back in touch with their family members. And everything is going well. People got new SPs. People got old SPs back. I just had someone contact me recently telling me that their SP is better. Their SP is healed because their SP was extremely depressed and suicidal and all that type of stuff. And now they're doing better, taking meds. All of that. And this person just wanted to contact me to thank me because they did it. And you know how they did it? They didn't do it because they robotic affirmed all day. They did it because we actually looked inward. We actually dealt with the real problems. We actually dealt with the real limiting beliefs. And I'm here to tell you guys, like, once you actually really deal with this stuff, once you actually deal with the real limiting beliefs, once you get out of the sensationalism of LOA and robotic affirming or whatever the technique is, and you actually get honest with yourself about this, that is when you can be Neville Goddard. That is when you can be a Sammy Ingram. That is when you can be like Nero. That is when you can be like yours truly.